2020 was a devastating year that affected us all globally. Every one of us has been impacted in some way. It changed a lot of people's perspectives on the way we live our lives and what is most important to us. For me, that's the love I have for my friends, family, and life itself. The fragility and temporary time we have on this planet is ever present to me. Like the eroding of mountains into sand, our existence is just another moment in nature. I spent years of life sick and tired, waiting, observing the world move around me as I stood desperately still. I've lived in limbo, in between life and death. In 2018, I had a life-saving kidney transplant. In 2019, I was in rejection that was treated and saved my kidney. In 2020, a worldwide Panera Bread, and it felt like years since I was able to truly live my life. 2021, vaccinated and healthier than I've probably been my entire life, I knew it was time for me to have an adventure, to create beautiful memories that would shine through all the darkness I faced. My best friend and I built a platform bed in the back of my SUV and set off on a cross-country road trip from Florida to California. This was a journey and a half, from the desert to the beach and everything in between. Let's start from the beginning. This was the start of our adventure. Our destination was set for Los Angeles, California, where my best friend Tiffany lives. We wanted to get there pretty quick because most of our trip plans were all in California. Also, my sister was flying in on June 28th to meet us in LA. We left Florida the 24th and made it to LA on the 27th. The first night of our trip, we stayed in New Orleans in a cute little hotel, then went and got breakfast and coffee in the morning, and roller skated in New Orleans City Park before we continued our drive. Our next state to get through was Texas. This is when my anxiety started kicking in about the long trip ahead of us. We were going to be gone for 3 weeks away from our home and our pups. Texas is such a long drive of nothing but farm-like lands. We stopped at a rest stop that had trails that we were able to roller skate on. We tried to stop and roller skate in every state we could. In New Mexico, we camped at this really cool campsite with mountain and desert views. It was super hot in the morning, but we went straight from our campsite to White Sands National Park. I highly recommend going to White Sands. It's like another planet with all its white gypsum dunes that cascade like snow-topped mountains in the middle of the desert. It was wild to see. You can buy sleds at the visitor center and slide down the dunes. We had so much fun here even though it was about 100 degrees. We would have stayed longer if it wasn't for the desert heat.
You had your thing to do again. nothing we can do. Our last endeavor against the weather has broken us in two.
The next state we had to get through was Arizona. Of course, we ended up going out west during a record-breaking heat wave. But us Florida girls are used to a little heat, so it wasn't as crazy as we were expecting. But Arizona did get to 118 degrees.
Nothing here can save me now. You're drowning in my heart. Say goodbye to all that was. I let you go, my love.
Welcome to California.
After an over 35-hour drive, we finally made it to California. We actually made pretty good timing getting to Cali. Our friend lives in LA, so she showed us around town and some things for us to do. We only stayed a couple of days in LA before we planned to head up the Pacific Coast Highway and camp in Big Sur. So not only were we driving across the country, but all over California too. Our first adventures are here in LA, then Big Sur, Santa Cruz, and Yosemite. This trip was so epic, I couldn't fit it all into one video. So I'll be making it into parts so you can follow along my journey from the beginning to the end. Thank you all so much for watching, and stay tuned for my next video where I explore LA and Malibu.
Baby, won't you dance with me?